That's telehealth at stagesoflife.net, suffernomore.com/telehealth.
Greenway Dodge delivered. Simple, safe, and free. Complete the entire sale by text, email, phone, or conference, and we'll deliver your new vehicle to your door. And take advantage of no payments for up to 6 months. Shop 24/7 at greenwaydodge.com. Feel the Greenway Dodge difference.
Have you wanted to speak a new language, but you thought it'd be too hard or take too much time? Then go to Babbel.com, download the app, and try it for free. In just 15 minutes a day, you'll be on your way to speaking a new language in just a few weeks. And right now, you can try Babbel for free. Babbel starts out teaching you words and phrases by matching them with pictures. You won't believe how easy the interactive program is. Soon the sentences get a little bigger, and before you know it, you're having simulated conversations voiced by native speakers. And because Babbel is crafted by language experts and uses the spaced repetition method in just 10...
Hi, Facebook.
Hi, Facebook. This is Dr. Klein. We're getting ready to broadcast live on Facebook, as you are looking at it right now. So search for Solmi, that's SOLMI, Facebook. And while you're there, watch our video series, which we're doing daily postings, several short topics, some longer topics that coincide with the recent COVID-19 health scare. What we're going to try to do is to give you some of the data as we see it, and the way we've been, let's just say, predicting the way these things are going. It's doing pretty much exactly what we said was going to happen back in January. So in any event, our track record right now is every bit as good or better than the NIH. Wouldn't you know about that? So again, we're broadcasting live on WDBO, that's 96.5 FM, streaming on iHeart. Thank you.
That's pretty good.
Not bad. Got it all in there.
Yeah, you did good. Now we're going to do that on the radio next time.
Okay.
We're getting close. We're listening to traffic.
We are once again accident-free on our roadways. Just a little bit of road work.
Accident-free because there's not a damn person out there. Okay, you gotta love it. You know, the beauty, they're going to get I-4 done faster because there aren't a lot of those nasty pedestrians called construction workers. You know, the trick there is you get points off your record if when you hit them, they go between the goalposts. It's terrible. Yeah, poor bastards, they're out there. So, disclaimer, sorry about that. If you wear a hard hat, don't beat me up. So again, we're on WDBO 96.5 as well, and you get the opportunity of listening to all those marvelous commercials, or you can check us out here, which is really our preferred way of doing everything. So, and we're here with the marvelous Melissa Fox, ex Howard Stern, Connection Show Studios, enjoying our Sunday afternoon while we should be working. So we are close to going.
Our Ask the Experts weekend continues on News 96.5 WDBO.
This show is not a medical opinion and does not consent to doctor-patient relationship.
And good afternoon, everybody. It's a show you've been waiting for all week. Of course, we've heard the doctor all over the place all week, but this is the official Stages of Life radio program featuring Dr. David Klein of the Stages of Life Institute in Longwood, just a hop, skip, and a yodel off of I-4 and 434. Now, if you'd like to participate in the show today, and we hope you will, 844-220-0965, 844-220-0965. You can also text the doctor using the code 21232. Now, you don't have to use your real name. This is a medical show, so we realize that that's privacy, right, with a capital P. So use any name that you want and just ask the proper question. Dr. David Klein is ready to take those calls right now at 407-679-3337. That's his office. I'm sorry. That's the office number. You'll get Iris if you call there. But you'll want to call into the show at 844-220-0965, 844-220-0965. Doctor, welcome to the show. Thank you for all the information you've been disseminating to the public this week. But I also have some questions for you as we can get to them during the show. It's up to you.
Sure.
But I've had a lot of residents keeping their 6 feet away from me in my area asking me, does this have the tendency to make some people depressed? And what are the symptoms of that depression?
Fair enough. Okay. Well, first things I want to shout out to Melissa Fox, who's letting me use her studios, which is connectionshow.com. Marvelous gal, ex Howard Stern. So she does a great job for us. We're also broadcasting live on Facebook, which is SOLMI, that's Stages of Life Medical Institute, Facebook. And you can watch us as we're doing this. And then please, on Facebook, visit our video series. Okay, we've been doing 4 or 5 of them per day to try to fill in the gaps in what's being broadcast. Because when you're on television, it's kind of tough. You have 2 or 3 minutes, if that, to do kind of a complicated topic. So this is a marvelous opportunity to be able to fill in the details. And we're going to go around and get around with the COVID-19 health scare. So with regards to things like the depression, well, that's kind of sad that we have to get depressed over being told to stay home for a couple of weeks. Back up north, when it snowed, you had snow days. And sometimes before a blizzard, the blizzard of 1999, whatever, you were in for a week or 10 days, and people didn't complain. They didn't need to be counseled. They certainly didn't need to be treated for depression. You're home. What a happier place to be than to be home where you've got your stuff around you and you can actually get the place clean. You can learn how to cook. You can learn how to garden. You can read. You might or might not want to spend time with your kids or your spouse. So take advantage of what you have been given. I've been to war now twice, really, and nobody really whined about it. So here it is. You're told, fight this war by staying at home, and you got people that are shell-shocked. It makes absolutely no sense. So if I have to say anything to anybody, it would be don't think so much about yourself and get over it. If you have to do anything, look around and try to figure out what you can do to contribute to the cause rather than feel like you're some kind of victim, because you're not. If you want to see the victims, look at the people in the morgue. They are victims. Look at the people in the emergency rooms, with the gowns and face masks, and some of those folks are going to die. Those are victims. What are you doing? You're hanging at home. Okay, so get over it. Now, so far as depression, if you're already depressed, this is enough to make anybody a little bit depressed. That's a different matter. But otherwise, don't be a disease looking for a manifestation. That's just, no, you're not shell-shocked. You are not going to have PTSD from staying at home. If somebody comes into my office with that kind of stuff, I will throw them out. Okay, I've got a staff full of people. They're all dealing with individuals, never knowing where the next person coming through is gonna zap them with a virus. And not one of them has whined about it.
Yeah.
Not one of them. So we've been open for business for day one, taking care of whatever we have to take care of, and they don't complain. And it kind of ticks me off a little bit when you have these individuals that don't have anything better to do than to complain. Why don't you learn how to sew and start making masks? Why don't you learn how to make surgical caps? They need these things also. Why not learn how to make food, take it down to the hospital and give it to them? Buy them racks of donuts, which I don't really recommend, but something hot, some hot food, because there are people there that haven't been able to go home. They've been there for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and I've spent plenty of time in the hospital, and what I will tell you, it is not as much fun as being at home. Now, before we go on,
very true.
Yeah, I want to come down on a particular woman, okay, and she's the governor of Michigan, and so what she did, which I think is absolutely horrid, okay, and I don't care what political party she's from, okay, but she's threatening the doctors and pharmacists in Michigan with administrative action. That means taking their license if they prescribe azithromycin and Plaquenil for this particular virus. Why? Because she hates Trump. Trump says go this way. She wants to go the opposite way. There are going to be people in Michigan that are likely to die as a result of this particular decision. Now, do I personally think that Plaquenil and Zithromax are going to work for this? I don't know. I don't have any experience with it. But what I do know is that when people are starting to find things that work, I don't think I'm going to deny somebody that's really ill the opportunity of living because the governor doesn't like one other individual. So the people of Michigan, if you're listening in, and there are people that are listening in, please don't vote for this one ever again because she is awful. That is a hateful, horrid thing to do. And instead of looking for things that are helpful, she's looking for things that are not. So what I wanted to discuss first, and then we'll get to some either calls or other sorts of business of the day, is what are we learning from COVID-19? And what I will tell you, it's not a new mutation. There's nothing new about this. But when you first identify something, okay, then you have to learn about it. So what does this mean? So it's kind of like if you end up with some pale skinned explorer in the Amazon and he finds a new purple frog. That frog has been there for a long time. That's part of the earth. It's part of the environment. But it might be new to us. That doesn't mean it's a novel frog. It doesn't mean that it's a new mutation. It's not even close. So what we have is a situation where they've recently identified it. Now, PCR, which is the means by which we can determine rapidly what DNA looks like, that's why we were able to figure out what this thing was. The Chinese found this terrible thing going on, and it took them a couple months to do it, but they figured out what the sequence looked like. And it's not like the other coronaviruses. They were able to identify it by genus, okay, but not by species. So what happens here, okay, is that the virus is nothing new. Now, that being said, what they don't know is how virulent it is, how quickly it's going to go, and how dangerous it is. And they made a calculated guess, which was, hey, we'd had best shut things down because this could really, really be awful. But looking back at it, every so many years, okay, we'll end up with a flu epidemic. Okay, we get them twice a year anyway, right? And people die. They get sick and they die. 500,000 people die every year due to quote-unquote influenza, but the vast majority of these people are never tested to see whether it really is influenza. Therein lies the problem. It's my belief, okay, and it's just mine, okay, and I can get hate mail for this one. I've been getting hate mail all week. But it's my belief that this particular bug has been around forever, and it's been buried in the flu epidemic. So the big one of 1918, okay, the Spanish flu that killed all those people, they did not have the capability of testing to see whether it was influenza at all. So in reality, we don't know right now whether it was flu or something else. It was a guess. When I was in medical school, we couldn't figure out influenza A from influenza B. It just wasn't really going to happen. So somebody came with all the symptoms. Oh, man, that's influenza. But frankly, you didn't know if it was adenovirus, rhinovirus, or any one of other maybe 50 different viruses that all have the same symptoms. So what's going to come out of this, okay, is that we're going to have to do a little bit better with regards to speciation of what's going on. What that means is we need to test people to figure out what it is. And it's not that stupid little flu virus thing that you get at the Doc in the Box. Well, I feel like crap, blah, 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 I feel awful, okay, and then do a nasal swab and they say, well, it's not flu, but they don't tell you what it is. And you just dropped $100 because that's what it costs. $100 to find out it's not the flu. $100 to find out it is the flu. And you know what they do? They give you the same Tamiflu anyway. So why waste the money? On the other hand, if you do respiratory virus antigens, which is something we do at Stages, something that we do at, actually, it's another company of mine called Florida Laboratory Analysis, we can determine what if it's one of 54 different viral pathogens. Then you can actually figure out what this is. So my proposal, and I've been trying to reach some people in charge, which, by the way, isn't as easy as it looks. I want you to imagine that you look out into your backyard and you see a flying saucer. Who do you call, right? Nobody's going to believe you. All right? Well, guess what? We have the capability of doing 1,000 of these tests, these COVID-19s per hour. And do you know how many people from government actually called us? The answer is none. I have called up to the White House and back, and nobody is interested in doing it. But more interestingly, okay, that if you had a little bit more time, you could run the 54 respiratory panel and find out and do the appropriate thing, which is to find out what the bug is in terms of epidemiology. That's what the CDC does. And that's also why they can only run a half a dozen tests per hour, because when you're running a respiratory panel of 58, it takes 58 times longer than it does to do one virus. They're not set up as a commercial lab. They're set up as a research facility. So if there's anything that's got me wondering, scratching my head, it's what happened to those 70 epidemiologists that we keep full-time in China? Okay, that what was it about this particular epidemic there that we were not allowed to see? Were they kept sequestered, or were we kept sequestered? And that's a question.
Very much.
Yeah, and it's been bothering me. I've been racking my brains trying to figure it out. So what I would like to see happen, okay, and you will hear it first on Stages of Life Medical Institute weekly show, Guide to a Healthier You. You're going to love this one. We need to go ahead and do concurrent COVID-19 antigen testing to see whether you're shedding the virus while at the same time performing a serology to see if you have antibodies to it. And the reason is very simple. You have a ship called an aircraft carrier, and you have 15 people on board that have COVID. How do you know what to do? So if you do concurrent virus shedding at the same time that you do serologies, you're going to find those individuals that are not shedding that already have immunity. You leave those sailors on board. You find those people that are not shedding and are not immune to it. You leave those folks on board. And at the same time, you're identifying those people who have the virus and are in active disease state, and you get them the heck out or sequester them. That way you don't have to lose a very valuable defense platform called an aircraft carrier or a destroyer or whatever it happens to be, an air wing. You can lose large portions. Yes, sir.
We need to take a break for the three big things we need to know. So can we pick this up on the other side of the break, my friend?
Of course we can.
Oh, you and I get along so well.
All right, Robert.
All right, everybody. Here's the numbers to call in and talk to the good doctor. He is my doctor. He saved my life. And you can call in at 844-220-0965, 844-220-0965, or you could text Dr. Klein of the Stages of Life at 21232, 21232. And meanwhile, make this a favorite on your computer, your smartphone, whatever, Stages of Life Medical Institute.com. stagesoflifemedicalinstitute.com. That is a splash page, if you will, opening the doors, the windows to more medical information than you will ever derive anywhere else. This side of maybe a doctorate in medical information at Harvard. All right. We'll take a break right now for the three big things you need to know on News 96.5 WDBO.
You're clear. And you can talk to Facebook.
All righty. Now I can speak the way I want to speak. All right. So
Catherine wants to know if you can shop in a grocery store and stay safe.
Well, Catherine, if I were you, I would go on Instacart and have them shop for you. That really minimizes what you're doing, because you're going to be in there handling things that God knows how many people have handled before you.
Do we have Instacart on Nantucket?
On Nantucket?
Do we have Instacart on Nantucket? Are you on Nantucket, Kath? Because if you are, I don't know if they actually have Instacart.
Oh, okay. Well, Catherine, if you don't have it out that way, then what you just simply need to do is put on some latex gloves and go. The masks aren't going to help you very much, but the latex gloves are pretty cool. And you leave them, as soon as you get out the store, you take them off, you go to your car. When you take your groceries into your house, take them into a mudroom. On Nantucket, you know what a mudroom is. You take them into the mudroom, you put the fruit and vegetables into the sink, wash them off with a little bit of soap and water, let them sit one side. Take the bags, pitch them outside into the trash can, then wash up. Kick your shoes off, change your clothes into a fresh pair of clothes, and put your clothes in the washer. Yes, it's safe if you take those minor precautions. And let's see. I guess I goofed enough on the Michigan governor. That's terrible. It's a good thing we only have one Michigan governor, don't you think? Yeah. We were blessed with Governor DeSantis in this state, and he really has been doing it.
Well, and that's a thing. There's been people that are just totally like, you should have shut the whole state down. And first of all, you can't.
Right, you can't do that. Okay, and if he had, he would have been criticized for that. It doesn't make any difference.
Right.
So the thing about being a politician, I guess it's a lot like being a parent, is not everybody likes you all the time.
Right.
But you do what's right, not whether people like you or not.
Well, yeah, it's not a popularity contest.
And it turns out the guy was correct. He did it properly. Now, Florida, is not like, let's say, Connecticut. It's one state. Tennessee is more like 3 states. Virginia is more like 4 states. Florida is huge. Okay, and it's like many more than one state. We have different climates, different cultures, and such, and they're handled differently. So we have a problem here in Florida, in the Miami area. That's where the real issue is happening right now. Why? It may have to do with the culture down there. It may have a little something to do with the cruise industry, probably a lot to do with the cruise industry. But what about Tampa, and what about Fort Lauderdale? And in fact, what about Orlando's ports that we have just east of here? So we don't have the same issues here as they do down there. So it may be more cultural. There's certain cruise lines that have been hit harder than other ones. Sure. It may have to do with cleanliness. So when this is all over, we're going to learn some lessons. That is going to get interesting. It's like, well, where do you vacate? Okay, to what places do you take your vacation? So how hard are they being hit in Mexico? And the answer is hard to say, but probably not very hard. because it's warmer area. So, next time around, are you going to take a Carnival cruise or are you going to go take a ride down to the Keys? You have to make a decision because you only have so much time and so much money, how you want to spend it. That'll be a lesson learned. What other lessons might you learn from this? I'm going to go on air here in a few minutes with it. But in Florida, we have natural disasters.
Hey, welcome back. Yes, here it's Stages of Life. That's right, the Stages of Life show every Sunday right here on News 96.5 WDBO. We ask the experts, and we have Dr. David Klein standing by right now, taking your calls at 844-220-0965. That's 844-220-0965. Text the doctor at 21232, 21232. And don't forget, the Stages of Life Medical Institute is open for you, and that includes the nutraceutical store, all right? So you'll find out everything you need to know, location, phone numbers, contact, and a lot of medical information that's up to the hour right there when you go on to stagesoflifemedicalinstitute.com, stagesoflifemedicalinstitute.com, and the doctor is going all out for free to give you all the information you need to know with some very well put together videos on Facebook, and he'll give you that address coming up. But doctor, we're back to what we were talking about before the break.
Yes, sir. So Rob, what I wanted to discuss was what have we learned? Okay, and why is this important? Because I have a sneaky suspicion that we're going to see COVID-19 come back in September. Why? Because that's probably what it's been doing all along. September, October, it's going to return, and now we're going to know how to look for it because the testing is now available for it. So COVID's going to be out there, influenza is going to be back, rhinovirus, adenovirus, all of our usual favorites will be back in the fall. So what have we learned? Okay, in Florida, we have all kinds of cool national disasters, all manners of tornadoes, hurricanes. It's an awesome state to be living in. Lightning capital of the world. What have we learned? What we've learned is that you'd better have certain supplies that are stable in your house. You need to be ready to survive for a couple weeks, if not a couple months. Like what? Well, you're not talking serious money here. It wouldn't hurt to keep a couple pints, 2 or 3 pints of rubbing alcohol someplace in your garage. It wouldn't hurt to keep several gallons of bleach somewhere in your house. A first aid kit. You know how many households actually have first aid kits anymore? Not as many as we used to have. Why? Because they're used to being able to pick the phone up and saying, hey, I need you to pick me up. I scratched my knee. So we need to relearn a sense of self-reliance. We need to learn how to take care of ourselves. Having bandages at your house, having antibiotics. Now, just the cream is all you really need. So these are the sorts of things you have to have handy. How much in terms of food should you have at your house? Canned goods. You rotate it in and you rotate it out. You should have at least enough for a month. So here in Florida, we've had hurricanes recently that knocked people out for 3 weeks. 3 weeks. You didn't hear them complain very much. 3 weeks without power, 3 weeks without air conditioning in this state, 3 weeks without water. Not a lot of complaining. They just knew that was part of the environment here. So what have we learned from this as a nation? It's how to take care of ourselves. It's not the federal government's place to be taking care of us. The fact that they are, the fact that it's doing it at all, to me, I don't like it. But it's a wonder that it's being accomplished. It's really your local government and yourself that are supposed to take care of you in these sorts of times. So complaining about restrictions makes absolutely no sense. This is epidemiology 101. Stop mixing. So when we had these kids that were, refused to cooperate and did their spring break because they felt like it was their God-earned right to be able to party. Yeah, I guess I'm 20 years old. I went through 2 whole semesters of school. I need to be able to go out. They ought to be flogged. Okay, so we have an issue here. I'm looking at, the military is now looking to recall retired physicians. Now, they're telling people 65 years and older to stay home because you're at risk. You take a retired 70-year-old doc and stick him in an emergency room, you might as well hang him up. He's going to be dead, okay? But nobody's complaining, all right? These people really need to be thanked. I mean, it's they don't deserve anything more than that. Just, be a little less selfish about the whole thing. That's really where I'm going with it. So what do you need to keep at your house? Just simple, basic chemicals. Right now, you could make your own hand sanitizer if you'd kept that isopropyl alcohol. Having extra dishwasher, not going moment to moment. I'm running out of this and there you go. It makes absolutely no sense. And then learn how to cook. Simple things. Learn how to cook, because you can keep things like spaghetti, dry spaghetti, a long, long time. And guess what? You boil it up. You could use your pool water if you had to cook spaghetti. And guess what? You're not going to go hungry. Rice does a beautiful job. Macaroni. There are all kinds of these things that you can, in fact, use. Canned tomato paste, and you make your own tomato sauce. There are lots of things you can do. And so I think what we need to go as a country and as Floridians, if from Southerners, from the Southeast, is to figure out a little bit better how we can do better than